Well, just in time for the summer, lake levels are finally rising and opening the doors for tourists and locals to recreate out on the water.
That's right. Team 12's Rachel Cole has a closer look at what this means for people heading to Lake Powell and Page in the coming months.
Lake Powell is the second largest reservoir in the U.S. Last year, the lake was seen at the mercy of an intense drought. But now, it looks like things are finally changing. Recently, Lake Powell has made a massive comeback. And with how things are going, experts say it might even reach a new elevation level of 3,600 feet. Lake Powell's water levels are rising, which is great news for locals and tourists, and just in time because of the summer season. This rise in water levels will open different opportunities for these people to engage in outdoor recreational activities. This new rise in water level will give the people who visit its shores a new source of joy, from boating to kayaking and swimming. There's a lot to do there. Apart from these activities, this boost in water levels has been a huge relief to the locals who were worried about the decrease in water levels because of the prolonged drought. Famous for its awesome houseboat adventures, Lake Powell is responsible for bringing over 3 million people every year. Who wouldn't want to see a massive lake surrounded by breathtaking natural wonders like canyons, cliffs, and towering red rocks? This makes this a go-to place for thrill seekers and those who just want to appreciate the natural beauty. But after a period of drought for so long, what actually caused this sudden surge? The main thing that caused this massive surge in water levels is mostly because of the snowpack from the Colorado Rockies. As the snow in the rocks keeps melting, the water keeps on making its way to flow inside Lake Powell. That's been causing a notable increase in the water levels of the lake. This influx of water has been a shock to many. If you compare it with Lake Powell's last historically low levels, which measured around 3,520.46 feet in March, you'd be surprised as well. This melting of snow has proven to be an important source of water for the lake, making experts believe this will make it reach a new level of 3,600 feet above sea level. Then, there's rainfall. Rainfall is a direct source of water input to bodies of water like lakes and reservoirs. The heavy rain in the watershed area, which is the region of land that drains into the lake, started to flow into the streams, rivers, and tributaries, adding to the overall volume of the water. Because of this increase in rainfall and the melting snow, the water level started to rise so much that it was noticeable for people even without any kind of equipment. While this is a source of joy for many, some people have their concerns. While this is great news for everyone, there are doubts and uncertainty about what problems this might cause. The first question that comes up is, can Powell actually keep up with this rapid rise in the long run? Will Powell continue to maintain these newfound water levels, or is this all just temporary for now? These concerns have made the responsible parties dig a little deeper. The second thing that seems to bother people is a concern that is much more serious. Will this increase in water levels cause massive flooding? This concern came up because if you look at the increase in the climate temperature, it doesn't look like melting snow from Colorado is going to stop anytime soon. With the water level rising so quickly, the communities settled around the lake have to prepare for what might happen if things go bad. The residents, especially those who are settled close to the lake's shores, seem to wonder how they can prepare themselves for a flood right after a series of droughts. There is a concern for the ecosystem too. People believe this rise in water levels is not good for the ecosystem either, since this will disrupt the habitat of different plants and cause a ripple effect throughout the ecosystem, especially the plants and vegetation. When we mention plants, we can't forget the animals that will perish along with them. As of now, we don't know for sure how these animals will adapt to this change, and what measures can be taken to make sure they are well looked after. Actually, the main purpose of Lake Powell is to work as a reservoir throughout the border of Utah and Arizona. It was constructed as a part of a Glen Canyon dam, which was a project that started in 1956 and took a whole 10 years to complete. This dam has two uses. The dam is used for water storage and hydroelectric power generation. Having a maximum capacity of approximately 24.3 million acre-feet, this seems possible, and the size makes it the second largest man-made reservoir in the United States, with the biggest being Lake Mead. Lake Mead is another important reservoir in the area that distributes water to multiple states, including Nevada, Arizona, California, and Mexico. Just like Powell, Lake Mead has been in drought for some time too, and seeing water levels finally rise gave the people of that area some relief. Lake Mead is mentioned here because, just like Powell, not only does Lake Mead see a huge rise after a dry period, but it gets its water from the Colorado River. Whenever the river experiences a high water flow, the excess water is then let out through the Hoover Dam into Lakes Mead and Powell. Even with the water level rising, there are some concerns the people have. Since the temperature continues to keep rising, there is the possibility that this temperature will make a huge portion of the water go up. This includes the water from snowpacks that might end up in vapors. This evaporation will cause a decline in the water levels of Lake Powell and Mead. Since the heat can cause the water to evaporate quicker, maintaining and sustaining this water level won't be so easy. The long-lived drought in the past hasn't been kind either. This drought caused the underground water to completely deplete in both lakes. This will have its own consequences, starting from having an effect on the water supply and messing with the overall ecosystem. To combat these issues, the government released some funds for recycling and conservation projects. Water recycling projects usually focus on treating and reusing wastewater to create a new source of water for different purposes. This helps in supplying fresh water in regions where water is hard to find. The government allocated $281 million for 221 water recycling projects in the Colorado River Basin. They wanted to increase the annual capacity of water by 127 acre-feet, and the water recycled would be used for irrigation and industrial processes. Other than recycling, the government gave another $233 million just for conserving the water. $83 million was allocated for water pipeline projects to create the needed infrastructure to transport and distribute water efficiently within the region, and $50 million was dedicated to enhancing the conservation and efficiency of the Colorado River Basin system. The 2007 Colorado River Interim Guidelines have played an important role in managing water usage between Lake Powell and Lake Mead. These guidelines are extremely important to make sure the Colorado River system is stable. Even with these efforts, and a lot of government investments in water conservation and recycling projects in the Colorado River Basin, the ongoing drought's persistence has raised an important question. Should Lake Powell be saved? There are opinions among experts. Some say that raising Lake Powell's water levels for hydropower generation and recreational purposes is very important. This seems like an idea to maintain and preserve Lake Powell. But other experts say that it might be a little too late to maintain and preserve Lake Powell. What do you think about this sudden rise in Lake Powell? Let us know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed today's video, then make sure to leave us a thumbs up. And do not forget to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon to be always updated with the most exciting content as soon as it's uploaded. Thanks for watching. See you again soon in another video.